I never wanted to have money. I just wanted freedom.
Well,
so what is,
money buys a lot of freedom.
But all I wanted was to be free, not to have people tell me what to do.
We're going to write a book and this is how it's going to start.
There's usually drinking involved in that too.
You just got to keep going.
What is this all for? Looking back, what's the point of it all? What is the point of it all? So, Kevin, I am so honored to have you on the show. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
I know that you're a surfer, so I have to make an assumption here. Were you born and raised in California?
No.
Oh,
but there's a lot of surfing. No, it's okay. Most people say that, but there's a lot of surf on Long Island and the whole eastern seaboard from Florida all the way up to the Bay of Fundy.
I should have guessed from the accent you were a Long Island boy.
Oh, boy.
It slips out just a little bit sometimes.
Sorry.
Okay, so tell me about it. Long Island.
Geez, I just blanked out. Is that
normal?
Sorry, just kidding. That's like your worst fear, right? You interview somebody and they go blank.
Well, it's part of life.
I interviewed Roger McGuinn. I don't know if you know who that is. He was the guy who founded the Byrds, right? Big band in the 60s, and then he went on a solo career and mainstay in rock and roll. And I got to interview him. We had booked him at the college concert, and I was on the committee, and I was a big man on campus because I ran the radio station, so I got to interview this guy. So I walk in the room, and there's McGuinn and backstage, and here I am. And now I'm kind of nerdy because I went to parochial school for 8 years, right, on Long Island, which I'm telling you about. But I get in there, and I've done all the research and all his albums, and I had my critiques and this and that, and I went, so Roger, blah, 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 blah. And it was silent. He didn't say a word. I'm like, fuck, And he looks at the big guy next to him, and they whisper a little bit. He stands up, and they see me to the door. So it was all over. I was in music, loved music, was in radio. I was not like a really creative kid growing up. I was kind of nerdy, Long Island, very sheltered. Surfed early, like 5th grade, 6th grade, which is not cool because your mom has to take you to the beach with your surfboard.
Hey, but you had a cool mom that signed you up for surf lessons in the first place.
Well, you didn't know. She didn't. She just volunteered to take me to the beach and drop me off.
Okay.
They were opposed to surfing because my dad was pretty athletic, right? So we were all encouraged to like play sports. And I played every single little league sport you could possibly think of. I mean, like little football, little baseball,
Just like every other perfect American kid growing up in Long Island.
Yeah. And it was like, and I wanted to surf, and it was like, what? So we'll get back to that part of the story because it kind of influenced my life. But until you made friends who had boats, mom had to take you, in 5th grade. But I'm just flashing back to if she didn't take us, we'd hitchhike, my buddy and I. It was easy because surfers would pick you up and take you down the causeway. And on the way back, usually it was a quick ride. So
yeah, I grew up skiing. They're the same way.
Yeah, everybody's like friends, right? Yeah, right? So we walk out from the beach onto the road, which is a state highway. And the first car to drive by is a state trooper.
Oops.
So he puts us in the back of the car and he calls our parents.
He's giving you a ride, but not where you were going.
So it was cool. I loved Long Island. But you're right. It was kind of like a world that I didn't know how terrible it was out there.
Right. Sheltered.
Yeah. But I wasn't like a high need achiever or anything. I did my own thing. And then I found surfing. I got to high school. I think he didn't find surfing. It happened. I got to high school, and my favorite picture of my dad, he's like playing stickball, right? And it must have been the 70s because he had like the striped pants on, bell bottoms.
Awesome.
He's in a full swing, with a giant, stick. And I'm like, whoa. So I thought I'd play baseball. Okay, so let me back up. So I go to this parochial school, and all my sisters went to Catholic colleges, so it was like kind of real, very disciplined family. So we got an option to go to public school because to go to the Catholic high school, you'd have to take a bus.
And you picked the public school.
I was not going to go on a bus for 30 minutes to go to school, but I figured I couldn't play football because they were all like, it was a top shelf football high school. So I thought I'd go out for baseball, like,
Right.
play third base, make
Just
it-
like your dad and the old stick ball.
Yeah, and then no, they were really good. So I ended up playing lacrosse. So I'm practicing during the week after school, and then the coach says, "Okay, we're going to practice on Saturday." I'm like, "Saturday?
You're like, wait, I surf on
That's
Saturday.
surf day." So I ended lacrosse pretty quick.
Yeah, that's the end of that idea.
But,
Surfer I am.
Yeah.
How'd you get into music?
So music was like always my thing. And that's why it was sad, because my mom was very musical and her family was musical. Granddad could play the piano by ear.
And where did it start for you?
Well, because I loved music and I didn't get to do it, when I got to college, and that's how this Roger McGuinn thing happened. So I walk into college, the first place I go is a radio station. Because I'm like, whoa, I can listen to music. And I end up running the station
Amazing.
for a year, which is a whole nother fiasco. I have like this executive board of like 20 people who just want to party all the time. And I don't know if I could tell you this on the air, but
Hey, it's your show.
cool.
Come
Yeah,
on.
so,
bring it on.
It was fun. And I remember walking into the control room and there was a guy in the control room and I was the boss. And he says to me, the record's skipping. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Well, obviously somebody put something in his drink and he was like,
Oh,
the record
right.
was skipping.
Of course.
So this is the kind of...
He was an innocent victim in the whole thing, I'm sure.
So that was the whole thing. And then, of course, I got fired. Not
Of
for
course.
that, but
Clearly.
I had taken the executive board out to go party, and it was Halloween. So we were all going out for Halloween, right? And some guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, there's a rumor that there's going to be an axe murder on a campus with an O or an F, or, can we broadcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Well, they did, and the campus emptied out.
Oops.
And I got back that night, and it was like, the chief engineers and station managers and program directors, they don't get along. Chief engineers, like, really, we want to keep the station on the air, and we didn't get along very well. No smoking in the control room, all this other stuff,
Sounds like a downer.
Yeah, so I was smoking cigarettes at the time. Balkan Sobrani, they were Turkish blends. Some guy comes back from Europe and he has these French cigarettes. I'm like, whoa, they're cool.
Sounds expensive.
They were. So I started smoking Camels after
Yeah,
that,
there you go. That makes more sense.
because they had the Turkish.
Better with the college budget.
Yeah, not non-filters.
So then what? After college, where do you go? What's next?
Well, so I think that I'm going to be a pro surfer. That's my dream in life.
How close did you get?
Not close at all.
So what was plan B?
Well, plan B happened by mistake. I mean, I lived above a bar at the beach for like 2 years just to surf. And speaking of 20, money, I could live on $20. So I'd live, surf all week, and then go back to the mainland. I'd take the ferry to the mainland on the weekend and drive a taxi cab and make enough money to surf. And
That explains where you got your gift for gab and talking to people. You were loading them up in your taxi cab, learning the art of small talk.
Well, or the bar.
Yeah, there you go.
I ended up tending bar too, which was kind of fun. And you heard my show. I have a guy called my Tuesday bartender Odie, and I get a lot of words of wisdom from Odie. And Odie's a real guy.
Bartenders do have a lot of words of wisdom.
So anyway, what all you want to know? I mean, that's like that was like crazy. Then I did radio. And then I went west.
Where'd you start your radio career?
I ended up getting a job in Vegas.
Oh, Lord, that seems like a oil and water, you in Vegas.
So it was like big decision because I had a dog.
Fire and gasoline.
Yeah. But I loved radio so much. I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I make the decision to go. And it was cool. I actually did a video thing. I worked for a TV station just to make extra money. And then I ended up producing this show called Stepping Out, and it was really excellent because it was during the time when before Fox bought the independent shows, independent stations, and every network station ran news at 11 o'clock, and we produced this thing to sell to them. We would have made millions. But some things in life are lost. And some things are taken from you. Now, I lost a lot of stuff. We all have, right? I mean,
right.
Those relationships, money, but this was taken from me. I mean, I had this perfect project, and they came out with Friday night videos and blew us out of the water. So
you think they found out about your concept, or was just coincidence that it came out at the same time?
I think that it was it's timing. You know, everybody thinks I have a really good idea, but if you're paying attention, you're thinking along the same lines.
Right.
I mean, it's like not one guy who thought of AI.
Right,
like
right.
5 guys thought of it, right? So I think they were thinking.
I've heard that so many times in relationship to entrepreneurship or product design, where people say, "Oh, I had that idea. I was going to invent that, but I never did anything with it, and some other guy did, or I was a little behind the 8 ball, didn't get it done before somebody else did."
Well, there's 2 things there. One is that, people have ideas collectively. I think there's a collective consciousness.
For sure,
right?
I would agree.
And
with
so
that.
if we're all on the same page, we could figure that out. But a lot of people don't do anything.
Right.
That's their fault.
That's a big, profound life lesson you just touched on right there.
And then they blame other people. It's like, oh, well, you know, in my other profession after that, I ended up I traded options in college. I always had like one side of my brain working and the other side working. I was traded options just to make money to drink beer.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair.
So it wasn't about the money, it was about being able to party.
Right.
And then when I lost everything in this deal that I put together, I said, I'm done with this. You know, I tried it, screwed up. I'll do something I can make money at. And I got a job at a Wall Street firm.
And was that better, worse, different?
Well, different, but a whole bunch of different lessons there. And where I was going with that is that people make excuses for not being successful.
Right.
Well, you know, you probably stole that money. You were dishonest. You know, you had to be. They came up with all the excuses why they failed,
Right.
and that makes them feel better.
I think almost everyone on this planet has done that at some point. We've just rationalized a reason why we can not hold ourselves accountable. It's a very human trait, I think. So what do you think? What would you say was the pinnacle of your career? What are you most proud of?
Oh, sobering up, I think. Yeah.
Hey, that's a huge accomplishment. And actually, I had wine with you, I think, like
That's not true.
too long ago. Hang on.
Yeah, I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, okay. Work in progress on that one. Got it. Besides your failed attempt at sobering up, what else you
No,
got?
it's not one thing. And I think that's part of what makes me happy is because it's a sequential thing. I'm always onto something else. I do that. I'm like, wow, that was fun. And I say, well, now there's something else. I mean, I've been fired. I've had different careers. I mean, I went from bartender to executive, you know, all those things in between. I washed dishes at some point. I was in a band, you know, it's not one thing.
Okay, so here's a different question for you then. What do you think was your biggest failure? What was the worst thing that's happened to your career?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you fail at things. You have to fail. And I have plenty of times.
Which one do you regret? Which one bothers you? You look back and say,
Sydney.
man, Sydney.
Yeah.
Tell me.
No, I can't. I'll tell you what my best success is.
Okay.
Was meeting my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I was hoping you were going to bring up Mrs. Palmer. Tell us the love story.
My second wife. Because I don't remember being married the first time. It was pretty crazy. But
that's probably for the best.
And she was too, you know. And then we met each other, and it was pretty wild back in the day.
Well, yeah, I get that impression from you.
And boy, the minute I met her,
where were you?
I was in Vegas.
Okay.
She had come down from Wyoming. She had worked for Del Webb, and she was building out, very talented woman, building out Sun City.
Oh, wow.
Del Webb.
Amazing.
And first time she met me.
When was this?
80s, early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, not early 80s, 80s, you know.
The 80s run together for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like, the first part of the 80s I don't remember, but when I met Gretchen, then I remember that part. But, you know, she met me and I was on my way to the mayor's, you know, and my buddy's like, you got to meet Kevin. You guys be great together. And I drive up in my yellow Porsche, you know, like, go, that guy's an ass, you know.
What a playboy.
But no, I just.
Gretchen's like, no way. I'm not dating that guy.
But we stayed friends, and like she'd always have dinners at our house. I don't know what we're talking about, Gretchen, but she'd have dinner.
Because we're talking about the biggest success of your life.
Then we have to talk about Tom, okay?
Next episode.
Next episode. So anyway, so we stayed friends, but the minute that we were together for the first time, we were always together.
Amazing.
And my best buddy is like my running buddy. Oh, he was hysterical, Blair. We'd go out and women say, so what do you guys do? He says, oh, we run the carnival. You run the carnival? Yeah, I'm the vice president of the carnival. And he's, and they'd be like, what? And he'd make up these big, great stories. But anyway, I feel bad because that's probably a failure. I neglected to really include him in my life after I met Gretchen.
Well, sometimes that happens. We fall into our love story and kind of forget about the outside world. But what I've thought was just really endearing. I haven't met Gretchen, but in knowing you, what I thought was really endearing.
Oh, she's tied up in the car. I'll
Okay, great. We'll drag her in afterwards. So that'll be in the outtakes.
Take the bag off her head. Right. I didn't want to know where we were going.
But I've always found it so endearing. You're such a playful, fun-loving, easygoing guy. And we've gotten together a couple times and had wine. But you have this little internal clock, like a dog with a mealtime. You're like, I got to go. It's time to go have my wine with Gretchen. You guys have this date night established every evening where you gather back together, and it's just one of the most endearing and humanizing things about you when you go, I gotta go to Gretchen. I love it. I think it's really sweet.
Can I get a copy of this? Because I want to.
You want to make sure Gretchen hears it. I'll hold you. I'll testify for you anytime.
She's very good. I am very blessed to have her in my life. She's bright. She's creative. She's easygoing too. She
must be to be married to you.
I know.
She's gotta be.
Set myself up.
Oh, amazing. So your biggest success is Gretchen.
Yep.
We haven't talked about your biggest failure yet.
Well, I don't know if I have a big failure. I have sequential failures.
But tell me why you don't think any of them are so big. Because here's the thing. People are always terrified of doing big things and living big lives and being that guy with the radio show and that's into music and he's, big on Wall Street, and all these things are scary for people because they could fail. And here you've been living this big dream and you don't seem to be afraid of failing at things.
Well, yeah, I'm afraid to fail things. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the answer to that is, because I try not to focus on that stuff. You fall down, you get yourself brushed off, and you go on to the next thing. I always have passions. I have, like when I was in grammar school, we got in trouble for something and got some punishment. So on the way out to the bus, in earshot of this nun who was standing there who gave us the point, I'm like, I could care less about that. That's kind of my attitude. Like, I could care less. Well, I had to write that 500 times on the board.
Oh, how do you feel? Like Bart Simpson?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
how do you feel about that now?
Well, I could care less because
I love it.
That's the point. It's like, what does that matter?
Right.
So,
so your fearlessness is attached to your resilience, your ability to let go and move on and pick up, and it's like you don't have a rear view mirror. You just keep looking forward.
Yeah, no rear view mirror. That's correct. But I have fear. But the whole thing about fear is overcoming it. Right?
So what do you do when you feel fear?
I breathe deeply. You didn't hear the show today, but you did your 60 seconds of Zen about breathing through
Ashley.
it. Yeah,
okay,
and it was really inspiring because you breathe through it. You're confronted with something, and you just have to take that breath. And
you're using your yoga skills to get through your life. And I practiced a lot of yoga with you. When did you start practicing yoga?
I was thinking about that because somebody asked me recently. It's over 10 years easily, because I started when I stopped surfing. You don't stop surfing. It's like an addiction. You kind of like, you stumble
into something else.
Stumble, and you're like, I'm going to, because I would always go to California and I tried to teach my daughter to surf. The new generation, no offense, I know your daughter's here, but it's like, she's going to learn how to surf. And I'm like, so we spent one day at the beach with her complaining about the sand and the waves and how wet it is.
Just so you know, I'm kind of old and that'd be me too. Like, nope, wet. I got water up my nose. I don't think I like surfing.
But the next day it was on Facebook. Oh, look, I learned how to surf.
Oh, boo.
Like, that didn't happen.
Worse.
But anyway, so I ended up eventually stopping. So over 10 years, maybe even almost 15 now, they think about it.
And obviously those yoga skills are teaching you lessons that you carry off the mat and into your life, because what you were describing about overcoming failure and taking a deep breath seems like that's really grounded you and giving you a little bit of, I don't know, coping skills to get through the hard times in your life off the mat.
For your benefit, because you're Namaste Ashley, and casually. Surfing and yoga are the same. That's why I chose surfing. Chose yoga because you have your mat.
Which is like your board.
It's like your board. You balance. You have to kind of, and every single class is different. Like every single wave. You know, every time.
That's because every time you get on that wave, you're different.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, like this is so cool. Like I'm like, when you opened up, maybe I'm telling tales out of school here, but it's like you opened up, I'm like, oh, not another yoga studio, because it's like another beach. They're crowded. There's people. I'm like, oh, what is this with the screen? I don't need that, right?
Right, of course.
And then I'm like, now this makes every single class different.
Yeah, this is the sanctuary.
It brings up that sensation of being, to me, you know, a different beach at a different time.
Yeah, so, just like the beach is different every day.
Yeah.
Love it.
And instructors are too. And that's what I love about instructors. I don't come expecting anything. I come to see what that next teacher is going to be like. You know, what's that teacher's thing today? You know,
love it.
This episode is not sponsored, but it is supported by all of our members here at Namaste Yoga in Scottsdale, Arizona. Namaste is a space where the ancient practice of yoga meets an immersive, cinematic, infrared experience that helps warm your body from the inside out while you move, breathe, and reset. We've built an amazing community, and we're so thankful to all of our members for making this all possible.
So Kevin, tell me about where you are now. What is your career? What is your life? What is your balance? What is your life like today?
So I think the answer you want is I'm here in the present with you. Is that the yoga answer?
Hey, that is actually the perfect yoga. This present moment is the only moment that exists.
That's right. But it's true. I mean, at this point in my life, I feel pretty blessed because I have all the things that make life easier.
What kind of things make life easier?
I've done a lot of stuff. I have a lot of accomplishments. I have financial freedom, which is
huge.
That'll
bring your cortisol levels right down.
Yeah. You know, I mean, but I guess where I am at now is that I want other people, and that's why I wrote those books, because I want people to.
Wait, I only read one book.
Well, the first one was, okay, what's important in your life? It's usually, to me, it wasn't money. Okay. It was like doing what I wanted to do. And that's why I'm always like, okay, I'm on to the next thing. So one day I looked at my account and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? How'd that happen? And I was so confused by the fact that I had this money in my account, which is a fair amount. I didn't know how it happened. So I said, well, I
I wish that would happen to me.
Figure it out. Well, it does if it's happening to you. Okay. But it needs to happen to other people. It's happening to you because you're doing all the things that you love to do. I mean, you're unstoppable. You have this business, that business.
Oh, and when you're passionate about what you're doing, you don't have to take breaks from it.
Exactly.
You can work 10 times more hours than other people because you don't want to stop doing it.
Because work shouldn't be work.
Right.
Work should be
passion.
The passion.
Yes, I agree.
So the first book was about how people got rich, and I researched over 200 people.
That's the one I read. That's a great book.
Yeah, and so that was that.
What's the title of the book?
Well, the first one was The Quiet Rich, and the second was Reawakening the American Dream.
The Reawakening the American Dream was the one I read.
Yeah, that has the examples and what to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was told I loved the style of writing, that it was, you have such a great storytelling voice, and you shared with me that you kind of tied it back to your choir boy days, and it had a little secret nuggets of.
That's right.
Of information in there. It's just
read the book, folks.
You gotta read the book. Yeah, it was excellent. I loved it. Okay, and what else? You've got your radio show.
Well, and
and I'm so honored that I get to be Namaste Ashley. Thank you for that honor and privilege.
You're doing a great job.
It's really fun.
It's funny though, because I asked various people, and it's not a criticism; it's a compliment to you. And most people are like, "Oh, okay, I'll think about it." And and Ashley just said, "Okay, let me do this right now."
Yeah.
Bingo.
Actually, if you're gonna tell a story, you got to tell it correctly. I said, I don't have time for this. Let's sit down together and do it. Bring a bottle of wine at 5 o'clock.
That's right.
and you bribed me with wine. We opened up a bottle of wine. We got your little recorder out on your phone. We knocked it out. And
Fair point.
Done. So I think if you haven't got other people to accomplish the things you wanted them to, you just didn't lubricate them.
No. Most
bribery
people,
helps.
The problem is most people don't have what you have, and maybe I have. Okay,
What's
and it's
that?
because of training. They have So what am I doing now? I'm trying to explain to people that we've become victims of large corporations, religion, all the things that oppress us, politics. If you have a family, you don't have time to do anything except make enough money to pay for that.
Right.
And it's by design. It happened from the beginning of time. The Romans had, everybody busy so that, politics is divisive and religion's no help. People are oppressed.
Brainwashed.
They're brainwashed and they believe that they shouldn't have something or that they don't have the time to have it because they don't have the time to get it. That's the problem.
Our school systems know better. Line up, sit up straight. My daughter gets in trouble for being a leader. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to correct that.
Yeah, good.
You need to get out of my daughter's way.
Good.
She's gonna run this place.
Yeah, yeah. I think institutions want to suppress.
They're creating drones.
Yeah, because you know why? Because they can't control them.
Right.
If you can't control society, then you're in trouble. And society was created.
What if you educate society?
Then they think for themselves. That's the problem.
I don't know. Is that a problem?
Not for me, it's not. But you got
to be a rebel without a cause, right?
Yeah.
You got to be somebody who breaks through and asks the questions. And so, is that what you're doing on your radio show?
Well, yeah, that's kind of my thing now. I want to inspire people to take a thought of not being oppressed. Standing up and saying, no, I'm not going to take that. I can think for myself. That's BS and that's BS. And that's the first step in trying something different. People aren't afraid. We talked about earlier in the first segment. Did I have that right? The first segment? They're not afraid to do something. It's that they've been forced not to. And that's the whole idea. People are forced not to do things. Stay in your place, stay in line, sit up straight.
And you're right, because we see that in children. Children want to love everyone and they have all this creative energy. And, even I'm guilty of it as a mom myself, that your kids but sometimes they're a lot. So you go, shut up, sit down, get right in the box and right. Be easy for me to manage. And we kind of, maybe some of it's intentional, but a lot of it's unintentional. We squash and we instill fear and we make people get small so that they don't stand out. And those kinds of things are, then we have to parent our own inner child when we're adults and try to let it all be free again.
So, yeah, parents are so inaccurate. Okay. They make mistakes and and it takes a lifetime to correct them in ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
But society is even worse because the systems have been in place from the beginning of time.
Right.
Look, I think about the Old Testament. That makes absolutely no sense. There's these.
I've got to tell you, I'm guilty of not reading the Old Testament. So you'll have to tell me.
Well, because at parochial school, right? You have to read the stuff. It just doesn't make sense. Adam and Eve, they talk about the Garden of Eden, and then there were the brothers, Cain and Abel, and they killed each other. But none of the stuff is connected. And then the first part of the Bible doesn't even consider the real history of humankind, which was the Fertile Crescent between the Tigris and Euphrates River, right? So that's where we first started farming. But somehow we've created this narrative about, well, you ate the forbidden fruit, so now you screwed up. So now you got to go,
pain and suffering it is.
Pain and suffering it is, and it's so
retribution.
It doesn't make sense. But it's been created.
But it instilled fear and made people obedient.
Obedient, precisely.
Right. Fear equals obedience. That's why we're all afraid to chase our dreams and live large lives and do things that are next level. Fear and obedience.
And it's, we're looking up to heaven or down to hell. It's that's why I did archaeology for a while. And
of course you did.
Yeah. Well, I gave it up for golf because I was not a very good golfer.
You gave up archaeology.
No, I gave up golf for archaeology. Yeah. So Gretchen and I spent a lot of time playing the back nine late in the afternoon. And, I played because in my career. And it's I wasn't going to get the green jacket, but I loved archaeology. So I just stopped golf and did archaeology. And I actually got the governor's award in Arizona for doing it. And where I'm going with this is, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't know, but I'm waiting for you to pull another career out right now that's not in any way related to the others.
What I learned about it is the fascinating concept in Native American life where they see things as, it's grounded, the earth, it's all
Yes,
around you.
right.
And we're looking up to other places and we're so out of touch. I think that's the mistake in religion. It's not here and now. It's not people. We talk about love, but we don't, it's not grounded in people.
Right.
It's grounded in supreme beings and devils and stuff like that.
Well, it's a fascinating approach for sure. So, Kevin, what is the point of it all? You've built empires and you've lost things and you've learned life lessons and you've had love lost and all these things. What is the point?
The point.
What is the point
So
of it all?
$1 billion question after all
What is
this?
the point? What's your why? What gets you up? What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
I'm not sure I can answer that about myself, but I think that what's important, that's such a tough question.
It is. That is the question we're all everyone is trying to figure out. What is the point? You kind of touched on earlier that building an empire, getting a big pile of money is always the first goal for really high driving people. But then you get there, you reach this financial freedom, there's this money in your account, you don't know where it came from, and you don't have to worry about money anymore. All your basic needs are met. You've got a supportive wife and a career that you love. Then what?
I want other people to have it.
There you go.
It's
There
like
it is.
I never wanted to have money. I just wanted freedom. So what is
Money buys a lot of freedom.
Right, exactly. I didn't know that right away. I remember saying, "Oh, I'm not going to get on that train and go to New York City. Forget it. I'm going to surf instead." But all I wanted was to be free, not to have people tell me what to do.
Right.
You're like that too.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's like that.
Right.
Okay, so I want that for everybody because there's only a very small percentage of people who really have control, and they're trying to tell everybody else what to do. So what gets me moving is I want to send the message to people that it's okay to get fired. If you get fired, it's because you're doing what you want
And it's because you were in the wrong job.
or whatever. And it's okay to say no.
Right.
And it's okay to stand up and say, I'm not going to do it this way.
And it's okay to say, I made a mistake. I thought this was going to work and it didn't work. And I'm going to cut my losses and do something else, not get stuck in this for 20 years.
Exactly. So that's kind of what gets me going. I want to see the world a better place. The problem is, Homo sapiens are kind of screwed up. They will always, it's in our DNA. We get to a point. Think about what just happened in the genocide in Palestine. It was like religious
unfathomable.
based,
It's unfathomable.
It's the 21st century.
I know. In any century, how do things get so out of hand?
It hasn't stopped. So we keep doing this, but on the other side of the coin, there are people. When I was looking at this beautiful autumn image during yoga today, it's like some people look at that and they see the beauty of the world. They're inspired. It brings something to the surface in them. They're the same Homo sapiens that are causing genocide in the Middle East. Well, it's the same DNA.
Yeah, well.
But some people have been able to
shift their paradigm. Yeah.
And that's what I'm about. It's like, you got to see it in a different way.
Well, and of course, that's why you've been invited on this podcast. That's what this podcast is about. What is the point of it all? What are we doing? What are we achieving? What are we striving? If we're lucky, we might get 80 or 90 years on this planet. What are we doing with it? Are we killing each other? Are we supporting each other? What are we giving back? And that's been the goal for me as well. And as you know, I'm writing a book about it and created the podcast about it because to give people these tools, hopefully as young as we can, but at any age, you can never be too late to learn these life lessons that if we think with our own mind and start coming into our own beliefs and questioning the things that we've been taught about staying in line and following the rules and figure out what our path is, maybe we can save some other people some of the steps that we had to go through to learn that hard life lesson.
Thanks for saying that, because that's exactly what it is. So are we done?
No, sir. we summed
A
up.
wrap? No,
We
good.
summed up all of the world. No, we're not done yet because you have to advise me. We talked a little bit about the book series that I'm writing.
Right.
It ties into the podcast and all of that. But as a successful published author, what advice can you give to me and other aspiring successful authors?
Well, first of all, I say touche for even thinking of that concept, because that really is what has to happen. We have to bring that level of consciousness to the surface.
Yeah, we got to shed a light on it. Give some people some tools early on so they can figure out how to undo the brainwashing early as possible.
Yeah, and what I say is shine a light. That's like my thing, I want to shine a light. But it takes. You're so busy. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I know what it did for me. You after the day is done, then you sit and you write. I'd leave like after dinner.
Yeah, that's when I've been writing too at night when the kids are. I've done all the things.
Yeah,
and usually I would at that point read. I'm a huge consumer of reading.
Don't read, write.
But now instead of reading, I'm writing.
Yeah, and into the night.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what I did.
But then it keeps me up because the ideas are going and it's churning and I'm feeling all the things and it's going.
Then drink. No.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you drink.
I'll tell you, my agent was this guy named John. They called him Mountain Lion, and he was agent for Arnold Palmer, Jim Palmer, and Kevin Palmer, who was this unknown Palmer, and used to break my chops.
I didn't know there
about
were so many Palmers.
Yeah, well, Jim was the pitcher.
I know Kevin Palmer.
Arnold was the golfer, and then the unknown Palmer. So I'm going to write a book. So I say, okay, I'm going to take a year off of my life, and I'm going to live in Telluride and write.
Well, that sounds nice.
Oh yeah,
that's what financial freedom will buy you.
Well, so I did it, and I got a cool house. And it turns out it wasn't a house. I rented the downstairs, and it looked right out over the Coors Mountain, the real Coors Mountain on the Coors can.
Wow.
I'm like, that's got to be the Coors Mountain.
Did that switch you from drinking wine to beer temporarily?
Well, it didn't help. And then I got a call from John one day, and he said, Palmer, he says, I realized what you and Ernest Hemingway have in common. I'm like, wow, John, finally you recognize my talent. He says, you both drink too damn much. Now, so don't do that.
Okay, all right.
Write at night.
Advice number one.
Yeah, write at night.
Write sober. Got it.
Well, edit sober.
Edit sober. Write drunk. Edit sober.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the thing that I didn't see coming is that when I'm putting energy, passion into, putting my characters into conflict, and they're having a thing and they're going through something tough, it'll put me in a bad mood the whole next day. I feel like I am going through something tough. I'm like, man, I got to get to the part of the book where good stuff happens to these people. They're kind of bogging down my emotions here. I'm living through my own characters. Did that happen to you?
I can't wait to read it. No, that's because you give yourself. It's part of you that's in there.
Yeah, right.
And that's the only way.
Yeah, you fire up those emotions in yourself by writing it. It's something I wasn't expecting to come out of the process. It's, again, we talked about kind of healing your own inner child. I think that's what's happening to me. I'm putting my characters into these horrible situations and then recovering them back out of it kind of in a way that I wish I could recover out of those kinds of horrible situations. But man, when you're writing the dark part, it makes your life dark.
Well, you're doing it the right way. The passion's in there. When's it going to be done?
Well, you want to talk about
do you have a deadline?
Oh,
no,
gosh,
and that's the other thing.
Deadline.
You need a deadline.
Are you just going to hold me accountable right here and right now? We're going to put it on the record what my deadline is. No, I can't.
No, but I mean, it helps to have a deadline.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But I'm curious.
How long should it take to write a really great book? How long did it take you to write your book?
Years, because you had
no deadline.
No, I did it when I wanted to. I went to Telluride. That didn't work.
I got 5 books to write, so I can't take years to write one.
The woman who wrote
5-book series is coming.
The what the hell is the name of that book? To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Took her years to write that.
Oh, I imagine it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, and then they came back to her when she was like 90 years old and asked her to write another book.
She's like, I'm going to die before I can produce another one.
I can't do that.
It took me forever, my whole life to produce this book.
It doesn't matter how long. If it's a good book, that's the important thing. But we have to change the world now because we have to hurry.
Well, and that's why we got to have a podcast. At least we can do that. We can do that in an hour. We can at least start getting the information in front of people and see if we can't sprinkle some of our wisdom with our gray hairs now, Kevin. You and I have a little wisdom in our pocket to sprinkle on to our friends.
That's the other thing. Getting older, you have a different perspective. And I think, I read this article about young men in their 30s. I mean, they have sex. There's a majority of them haven't had sex in a year.
Stop that.
Swear to God.
This can't be accurate.
Well, it's research.
When I was 30, I was definitely having sex more often than annually.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, so, and I'm in favor of as much sex as possible, with whomever, whenever, as long as they're consulting adults,
Oh my gosh, Mrs. Palmer, scratch that.
But
Don't
anyway,
turn it off. Pause,
saying
Mrs. Palmer, pause.
my words of wisdom. But no, because this guy tells me, he says, I talk to women my age and they act like it's a gift if they respond back to me.
Interesting.
I'm like,
Technology has made dating super weird.
yeah, it's like,
I am so grateful I'm not dating. Online dating is bizarre.
It's nice. You say, oh, hi, thanks. Have a conversation. They're like, oh, I'm really too good to talk to you. Anyway, we're digressing. But I think sex will help things calm down a little bit in the world. If
Well, it
people
can't
had more
hurt.
sex, it would be so violent.
Let's go back to the 60s.
But the other thing that, what's the point? We need to fix this fast because we have these new threats.
Well, one point that you just mentioned is connection.
Yes.
Not just sexual, but just energetic connection between humans. Now we're all on our phones and less likely to actually. That's why I love yoga too, because there's a community of people that come together and actually make eye-to-eye contact and stick their phones in a locker and walk
Yes.
away from them for a while and engage. I think that's a really big missing part is connection and community. We find that a lot.
Interesting, because when I think about it, I don't see people on their phone in the studio, so people leave their phones out.
Yes,
but
they
I
do.
have seen people on their phones in yoga, and I'm like, honey, you can't leave that alone. You're not
Oh,
that important.
no.
You can't put that out there for 35, 40 an
Please,
hour.
no. Yeah, that's kind of defeating the whole purpose. We're trying to disconnect in here. But I think that's a big thing that people are lacking. When I conceptualized Namaste Yoga, we're going to open this yoga studio and all of this. We thought a lot about postures and classes and times and schedules and all of that. And of course, we really wanted to build a community. But I didn't really realize how lacking and how important that was going to be until now that we're living it. It's almost every single day that there are happy tears with people saying, I can't believe I found my
Wow.
tribe. I have a community.
Wow.
I feel like I belong somewhere. And there's studies when they study these blue zone places where people are, over 100 years
Yes.
old and really healthy. That's a really big component to it is human connection. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people undervalue is where do we find connection with other people? How can we come together? And a lot of people do find that in their church or their religion. But if that's not where you're finding it, you need or in the bar, right? Or on the radio show. These are some places. But some of us need to look for healthy ways to connect, things that aren't going to hurt our liver.
You're right. And it's because we have this technology world that people think that their reality. I mean, there's so many people who think that their success is, talking about success as we did, their success is based on how many hits they get on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Well, it's very tightly linked to financial success these days. You got to have followers that's your audience to market to.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it doesn't make who you are, make you who you
right.
are.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and then of course you go into the whole next phase of things where people look so perfect and put these pictures of this ideal life. And I know I've had moments of that where I'm like, kids, get together, stop it right now. Everybody smile. And the kids all go, and you take a picture and then everybody says, your kids look so happy at the beach. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was yelling at them the whole time.
They were forced to smile.
Yeah. So there's sort of this keeping up with the Joneses, but it, just like keeping up with the Joneses always was, you don't know what it's like behind closed doors. And so people have these unrealistic expectations of this perfect life, which is why I love that you shared the story that you have ups and downs and successes and failures, and they're all part of the ebb and flow and the rhythm of your life. It's not necessarily important to be perfect all the time or to put on the impression or image of being perfect all the time.
Real is important. You got to be real because life is real, and we've gotten away from that. And
We sure have. Yeah.
here's the other problems. I think they need to be addressed since we're here, because if you're going to write the book, you're going to have to address how to fix this, because AI is a problem.
Yo, no kidding.
So even
It's also a tool.
What's that?
It's also a tool. I think it's just like humans can be love or war. I think AI can be a tragedy, or it could be used positively. It's all going to depend on how these Homo sapiens interact with it.
My AI voice is very sexy, more sexy than people that I know. That's a scary thing to me. Hi, what do you need now?
Yeah, there goes your radio show. Bye-bye.
But also the guys who invented this, they all say there's 0 to 30% chance that it will be the end of humanity. They say that.
0 to 30% chance.
Elon Musk said 20. Thiel, I think, said 30. I mean, it's a problem.
And how does it end humanity?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's what we don't know, but I don't know how. But when,
Well, hopefully we're not about to find out.
yeah, hopefully not in our lifetime. But the other problem too that I see is that, and why I try to, I want people to empower themselves to become something other than just a follower, is because what's happening now, when I was on Wall Street, it was like, there were some billionaires, there were like 200 or 500 of them. Now, every month there's a new IPO, and that creates a new billionaire. So what happens is...
Yeah, the billionaires are the new millionaires.
But it's infinitesimal. You can't conceive. It would take you a lifetime. I think it would take like 60 years to count to a billion. So...
Yeah, a billion's a big number.
Yeah, so you can't conceive of a billion, but these guys are worth like, 100 billion.
Yeah, what do you
valuations on stocks are
for?
like trillions. So, okay, before the Industrial Revolution, from the beginning of time, there were the common people, and then there were the handful of kings and queens. Okay, these people were not middle class; they were poverty stricken.
Yes, right.
It was getting a meal was the most important.
Yeah, they were
thing.
servants,
They lived on
right?
the dirt, it was like terrible from the beginning. Then the Industrial Revolution happened, and then
Middle class.
we created people who could create wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Now what's happening is these billionaires, the disparity of wealth from the middle class to the billionaires is even greater than it was back in the days of the pharaohs, who had guys building their pyramids.
So here we are. We don't even know that we're just dragging these rocks on our back through our days. Actually, some days I can feel it.
Yeah, so that's a risk, because there's too much power, and I think it's time to stand up to the billionaires and say, if we get caught in this thing, hey, it's easy to call Amazon and get your stuff.
Isn't that true?
It's so hard not to get caught up into their thing. So I don't know what the answer is. You tell me.
Well, usually when things are unstable like that, they eventually just explode. Something will happen. Something will give. Something will break. But, we lived in a lot of fear of Y2K and other catastrophes that just kind of turned out to be a little bit of water under the bridge and not such a scary apocalyptic moment after all. So maybe we should just get on our yoga mats, take a deep breath, and hope it's not the end of all days.
Well, I like that. And it's probably the way to look at it. And that's what I do. I kind of move one day at a time. And I say, I get distracted easily, so I'll find something else to do, and I get into it for a while, and then I move on to something else. And if you keep that pace, it all works out eventually.
Maybe that's the secret to the point of it all.
Yeah.
Just keep it rolling.
Keep shining a light every day. Do something a little, not for yourself. And the other thing I want to throw in too is we need to be polite. People have no manners.
Yeah, it's true.
These people drive, walk across some Sprouts, in front of me, and they, not thank you, not, I literally stopped, waited for them to go from the door to the parking lot. They didn't,
Well, it's more of that disconnect from, having all these interactions online. As a business owner, I've had 11 businesses. I've seen a lot of keyboard warriors, people who will get on Google or Yelp or something and leave you a review that they would never bring to your attention or have that conversation to your face. So
really interesting.
That disconnect makes it easier for people to develop rude habits, I think.
True.
Back in the day when every conversation was face-to-face, manners were more popular.
Interesting.
I don't know. You can still kill people with kindness, though. That's always my approach. When people give me the finger, I wave. Hi. Maybe they'll be nicer next time. I don't know. But it's not up to me. Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show and coming and sharing your wisdom. Where can people find you if they want to follow your journey, read your book, listen to your radio show?
Well, I'm not really good at social media.
Well, we've discovered that.
But I know, but I'm trying to get on Instagram. So because my nieces and nephews, and they get 200 or 300 hits, I get 4. Yeah. So I'm working on that. So I have an Instagram site. Is it called a site? I don't know.
And what's your handle on Instagram?
I don't know what it is. I think
we'll put a link. We'll put a link.
Okay. I think it's Kevin Palmer, writer, rebel, or something like that.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, the radio show is KSJD. It's called Music Mile Magazine, but you can pick it up online. And then the podcast is also Music Mile Magazine Radio.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll we'll put links to all of those for
That'd be great.
our viewers so that they can find you, even though you don't know how to use Instagram yet.
Oh.
Those kids will help you out.
And they can help me if they like, if they follow me or follow them, however that works.
Yeah, they will. They would love to help you. And I'd love to help you too. Thanks,
Thank you.
Kevin.